I'm going to show you how I make a nice chicken broth. And what I do with that chicken broth is I will use it to make ramen noodles. And I got to tell you, that takes it to a whole new level. But the way I'm doing it is with very inexpensive meat. It's chicken hearts, $1.69 a pound. And I happen to like chicken hearts, but my dog loves chicken hearts too. So I'm going to boil the heck out of these, which lets what little bit of fat is in these chicken hearts emulsify into the water. And we'll let you follow along as I go through this process. It's not very long and it's super easy. Then I'm just going to put these into the water. Very little fat on it, quite lean, but there will be enough fat to emulsify into the broth that I'm going to get out of this. And once it's at a full boil, I will cover that. All right, we're approaching full boil, and you can see that scum, if you will. I want to get rid of that, and that's easy. You just take it off the top. And in a moment, I will reduce the heat because I don't want it to boil over. Be careful because once you are at full boil and you've got it covered, you're in danger of boiling over and making quite a mess. So you want to be sure to turn your flame down or your heat down to very low because it'll maintain that nice boil. And you want it to be moving around in there. You can see the water moving. That action helps to emulsify the fat with the water, mixing it up. And so we'll just leave it there for about an hour and a half. These hearts have been boiling actually for quite a while. I let them go for about 2.5 hours. I initially said an hour and a half, but I let it go a little bit longer this time, just so that the broth could become a bit more concentrated as the steam, which you can probably maybe see here, evaporated it down somewhat. Not a whole lot. So let's turn the heat off and see what we got going on here. Hot, hot, hot. And just the color of that broth is beautiful. Look, you can kind of see some of the fat floating on top, but a lot of it did get emulsified into the water, forming a very nice, rich broth. So let's pull those out, and we'll come back to the broth in a minute. I have all of the hearts removed from that broth, and I'm going to let it cool down because right now it's a bit dangerous to handle. And then what I want to do is season it up just a little bit. Now remember, those hearts are not only for me, but mostly for my dog. And that's why I put no seasoning into them while they were boiling. But since the dog is not going to get any of the broth, I'm going to season it up a little bit to my own taste. And here's the broth. And it is a beautiful golden broth that I will use later throughout this week and a little bit into next week to make various things with. I will add this to sauces, using it as a chicken stock, and I will also make ramen noodles with that instead of water. So let's make some ramen. Put the noodles in. Put that in there. In this case, I'm going to use the pork flavor. You can use any flavor you want, of course, or not use this at all. You can use your own spices, your own flavorings. Now keep in mind that even when I use a flavor pack with just water, it's going to be essentially a very salty broth. There's flavor, but it's not like what you would get in a restaurant. So let's add the remainder of my broth. And you can see what's going on here. Look how different it looks already. I'm going to let that go. Start that up. And I guarantee it's going to be good. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic, some ginger, and a pinch of cayenne pepper. A little bit of that goes a long way. Ginger, a little bit of that goes a long way. Garlic, a lot of that because I like garlic. And I also like turmeric. Dash of turmeric. And my favorite part, some nice sesame oil. Just a splash. That should make it divine. Now that is restaurant quality ramen with an emulsified chicken broth stock. It is going to be so good.